All right, once again, thank you, everybody. So the last few days, what we did is we said, let's deal with a real life use case. The use case is straightforward. The use case is a hospital system, right? Decided to buy some new equipment that are massive, MRI and CT scan equipment, right, in the hospital system. Now, for those of us that are not familiar with that, these are huge machineries that are expensive, but because they capture personal health information of our patients, they capture medical records, they capture images. So because of that, they are classified personal health information. So we are saying that before you bring this equipment to my environment, right? Don't forget it's a network, right? They will bring this device into your environment, they connect it to a network. It's like when you buy a new TV, right? At this point in time, or you buy a new laptop or a new fridge that is internet connect enabled. First thing is we try to connect them to our Wi-Fi, right? So the same thing for this hospital system. The user either use a cable or they use wireless to connect these devices within their environment, right? Whatever their story is, at the end of the day, they've connected a massive device into their network. So because of that, that is a big deal. That is significant, right? So we can't, downplay it. It's really a big deal. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to understand the potential ramification of that. The ramification of that is if we don't do our due diligence and you connect such a device to a public network or your internal network, then any risk, you are liable. And when we say liable, sometimes the fines can make a company go bankrupt. Sometimes it might become a criminal case of negligence. So this is serious stuff. And now we're talking about leadership. Like, the truth is, you could be one of the leaders today or tomorrow, and I can bet you no leader wants to go to jail. I can't be making $2 million, $3 million a year, and you tell me I want to go to jail. No. The reason to make that much money is to hopefully use it to enjoy, not to go. So people take it serious. Your leadership definitely take it serious. Anyway, that's the story about the project we talked about. So having said that, for those of us that are new, let me just quickly recap out very quick. Today is a working session. I give some assignment. I would like us to kind of work together as a team. Then I'll do, show you a video. We kind of look at the video to kind of put it in real context also. All right. So let me quickly show you the for my folks that are new to this class, let me just quickly do a quick 2 minutes rundown. All right, if you didn't attend it, go back and listen to the other class. But the benefit of just to try and keep everybody on the same page, for I'll be very fast on this one. Okay, so pardon me for the next few minutes. We'll be very quick on this one. Just 5 slides. Okay, we'll be out of here. All right, so this is really talking about, okay, what are we talking in terms of risk assessment, right? We are saying we are assessing the risk in my organization. We are thinking of what is the threats within the business itself. Then we identify what are the risks. So if I am bringing a new machine to the hospital system, what are the risks that we can think about? Now, one thing I'll tell you ahead of time, relax. It's subjective. So don't get mad on someone that says, well, I don't agree, this is a risk. It's okay. It's the normal process. I mean, I've never done a risk assessment that we don't butt head. I mean, we'll be respectful, but we would not always agree. Many times just about open mind. The key is reasonableness. If you can tell me something reasonable, then I'm fine. If it's reasonable. If it's not reasonable, then I'll say, well, I'm not sure I am convinced about that, respectfully, right? But most people, if you can articulate the reasonableness, people would oblige you, right? So once we identify the risk, we evaluate the risk and say, what is the likelihood of this risk happening? Let me give a practical example. So you might tell me that I need to install a very strong, let's say, within my home, I need to have like, let's say I live in California. Oh, well, not California. I need to have foundation that could resist earthquake in Texas. Well, um, the risk is probably high, maybe. The impact if there was an earthquake in Texas is equally high, but the likelihood of it happening, ladies and gentlemen, it's fair to say I can make a case that it is low. because historically we've not had earthquake, right? So that's the same rationale, right? So even though the impact, if it happened, is high, but the likelihood is really low, right? So that's the way people think about this in a business. People really take their time, analyze this, and get comfortable before you know, um, they feel they could make a case for it. So anyway, that's the gist about it. Okay, so it's not a big deal. Then you prioritize the risk. At the end of the day, always remember, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how wealthy an organization is, nobody has unlimited resources. There's a reason Bill and Melinda Foundation still keep asking for fund because nobody has unlimited resources, right? So it means based on all the risk we have, we need to still prioritize the risk and say, okay, which of these risks is actually immediate, which of them could wait later. Leadership needs to prioritize so that they can allocate financial resources appropriately. As simple as that. So no big deal, no rocket science there really. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, all the people I'm talking about, leadership, doing their stuff, they are like you and I. Most of you probably on this call are leaders, or all of us are leaders, to be honest. Any one of you, I can make a case to say you can attain a role today. I just give you 2 months of learning curve. Nobody's a dummy. It's not a big deal to be. I believe that 100%. And why? Let me give you why. I am so convinced. If a 28-year-old kid can leave college, lose his dad, suddenly became the president of a nuclear state country called North Korea, and he's been holding his ground for the last 12, 13 years or whatever number, then life would make you step up. So everyone on this call, I challenge you. We are leaders already. Just remove the barrier mentally. That's all. It's not a big deal. The people you meet are the same folks you meet in your churches, in your kids' game, in Walmart. Some of them you cuss them out when you're driving. They're the same folks, right? So don't get not a big deal. All right. So, but these are the people that would eventually decide the priorities in terms of what we should invest in at any point in time. Okay. So that's the quick snapshot of what we talked about. Then we said, what's the importance of risk assessment? I think we can't understate this. This is insane if we don't do it. And in a bit, you'll see a satire. I'll show you real quick on why it's important to do risk assessment. Many people avoid it for some weird reason because it forces you to think and forces you to start being proactive. But surprisingly, a lot of people don't do it. In many projects, people just don't think about risk assessment. When everything falls apart, guess what the auditors or external regulators always ask first? Can I have a copy of your risk assessment? And they tell you, well, sorry, we didn't do one. Ew, horrible. But that's the reality. That happens all the time. Okay. So always tell people that, okay, risk assessment is a very important piece of the puzzle at any point in time, right? So just some types of risk in IT. Some of them are things we already know, right? Of course, we know all the threats. We know phishing campaign, somebody trying to scam you with email. For those of us on WhatsApp, we know the normal drill. Please never fall for people. They will call you and say, oh, this is a call from, a company, any company they can tell you, or even, church group, they will tell you, oh, your pastor is, or your imam or your teacher, your coach, whatever he or she is, they will try and scam you. That's phishing. They're trying to see if they can scam you. Some of them, they will send you links and they will see if they can get you to fall for those schemes. So be mindful of those. Those are a big deal. In the space of cyber, three key things we always talk about. Can we all type this real quick, everybody, if you don't mind? Can we type in CIA? CIA, if you don't mind, please just type in CIA real quick. Can we all type in CIA? All right, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just type in CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Can we go further and say, now, if you're in a meeting and somebody's talking cyber, you just say, well, we need to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of our critical infrastructure. Honestly, immediately you sound super cool because that's the core of cyber, right? So I want everybody to just type in CIA because really, if you're in a meeting and you say that, people will know, okay, all right, you get it because those are the core areas in terms of enterprise cybersecurity mostly. Now, there's another element, an angle to it for like plants because manufacturing also have their cyber plants, all of those critical infrastructure. But those ones, their priority is not always confidentiality mostly. They would think about availability. Availability is saying Is our network available when we need it, right? And rightfully so. If it's a power station, power grid, guess what? The plant manager wants the power to be working all the time. If it is a manufacturing for pharmaceutical drugs, I don't care about confidentiality. I just want availability. Is this system working? So, that's why you can always think through it and say, okay, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Those are the key areas in general in cyber that we consider. All right, data breaches, we can all agree. Even if you don't know anything about data breach, just know it's bad, right? We're saying somebody breaches sensitive data. Some of the data that we care about are mostly, can we all type in PII and PHI real quick, if you don't mind? Can we all type in PII and PHI, please? Can we all type in PII and PHI and PHI? If you don't mind, can we all type PII and PHI real quick? Let's see. If you don't mind, let's type in PHI and PII. PHI and PII. Oh, PHI and PII. All right, let's see. Somebody's okay. Let me see. Are we not able to type? All right, let's see what's going on here. Can we type PHI and PII? You can type? Oh, you cannot type. Okay, got it. Okay, I just saw that. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, that's okay. No big deal. No big, but okay, let me share my screen again. Thank you all. Thank you all. No big deal. Don't stress it at all. All right, let's just go back to, let me just go back to the, let me quickly just wrap this up then. It's okay, no big deal. All right. So other thing is hardware failure. We can agree, even all of us on our computer, if you're using your work computer, one of the most frustrating thing we see is if your hardware, your laptop fails, it's a big deal. So that's enough stress. Human error, this happens all the time. If somebody misconfigured their setting, that's a huge deal. So that's a big crisis in general.